Hey guys, welcome to Baka Burrito. I'm Devon.
I'm Diego.
And I'm Max.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Nen 101 / the fundamentals of Nen. And Max has the perfect way to describe it. Take it away, Max.
Alright, guys. Nen. It does stuff.
And that's been the episode. Oh, for real this time. Nen is described as the technique that allows an individual to manipulate / use their aura. And what aura is the life energy of all living beings in the show Hunter x Hunter. Is anything else you guys want to add?
It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, and it's also interesting the fact that like it's very it's invisible to people that don't know how to use Nen. So it's like invisible willpower. It's almost will, because
yeah.
I mean, they say spirit and life energy, but like I guess at the same time they're also saying that like willpower or like what you want, your desire is
or
your
vitality.
Spirit.
But yeah,
or your vitality.
There's actually a point that we'll get
as your vitality.
Yeah, we'll definitely get more into that because I do like that point. Remind me.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll remind you to take that part away. So one thing about aura that's pretty important to note is that an untrained user, since everyone has it, everyone is constantly, air quote, using it in a way. Aura is constantly leaking from every person's body in the Hunter x Hunter verse. That being said, if you can't control Nen, you're constantly going to lose it, and it depletes, and when you run out of aura, you're dead. If one can control Nen to a certain aspect, then the leak can stop. And there are some characters who are significantly older than they look because of the fact that their vitality is no longer draining. So I think the first thing that's really important to note is the fact that the body has these glands called aura nodes. They're similar to hair follicles, except they produce aura. You have anything to add about aura nodes?
It's kind of like you're sweating out Nen, I guess, if you wanted to describe it to some capacity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, like how Killua and Gon described Nen as like mucus. Sort of mucus coming out. That's kind of
like a liquidous semi-fluid membrane around them.
That'd be fine.
Ew, no. Aura nodes are 100% capable of being damaged, and if the aura nodes are damaged at this point in time, there's no way to get them back. As far as we are in the series, because Hunter x Hunter likes to take a year-long hiatus.
A year-long, kind of like.
Yeah, I wish it was. I wish it was only a year.
They're competing with Berserk on those hiatuses.
So, I think something that's really important to note about Nen in the verse, that while everyone has aura, Nen itself, like the technique, is kept secret from the general public by the Hunters Commission. And you can't be considered a pro hunter until you learn to control Nen. It's considered the secret hunter exam. So even after you pass the hunter exam, if you have no aptitude for Nen, you aren't actually a hunter.
Can we even talk about how that that's like almost a level of world building that applies to Nen? You know how the outside world views Nen, like in Naruto, chakra is like just everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone has chakra, it's just, basic part of life. In Avatar, The Last Airbender, bending just whatever, it's basic part of life, but Nen, it's like hidden from around the world. So like only like the strongest or like, the people at the top of the world
exactly
have Nen, and they're gonna have the ability to figure out what Nen is because they're at the top,
So there are some people like in regular society that can use Nen, regularly, like they have a Hatsu and whatever. And some of these people would include certain politicians, athletes, fighters, some artists, exactly, musicians. But they don't know that they're using Nen. They're just so in tune with their own life force that they're able to produce an ability and excel with that ability.
Yeah, and it seems like a miracle to everyone else.
Yeah, what I've learned from Hunter x Hunter is that every natural athlete or somebody more talented than me, it's not because I'm lack
No.
any. It's just because they use Nen.
No. They said some.
Devin, no, that's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm going to go with. Okay.
And I think it's really cool to note that there's even a character that we see unlock Nen playing a board game. So her Hatsu becomes. We'll get into what Hatsu is in a minute, but her Hatsu is specifically to find a way out of situations in a board game. She unlocks the ability. Unlocks the ability to cheat. Essentially,
or the one girl that can write the future.
Nah, yeah, somebody got me calling up Yugi with all that destiny and fate.
So, Max,
that might be Yugi's Nen ability.
Yeah, word. Actually, now I think about it, it all makes sense now. It was because Yugi had the heart of the cards. He was using Nen.
So the last thing to note before we get into the specifics of Nen is the fact that aura can be seen by people who are trained with it, but it can be felt by almost anyone, especially those who are more sensitive to Nen than others. It's a feeling of discomfort when regular people are near really strong Nen users. And that thing you were talking about before, that Nen can carry emotions, it's similar to Bloodlust in other shows, and they even use Bloodlust in Hunter x Hunter. When you emit your Bloodlust, it goes out with your Nen. All of your negative emotions can be projected. And in Hunter x Hunter, I think it's really interesting that when you project enough negative emotion, it can cause physical harm to certain people.
Or
if
objects.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't have a defense against it. So did you have anything?
It goes back to willpower.
Exactly.
It goes back to willpower because you're willing that person harm, and so your aura does harm to them because it's following just what you want.
Exactly, and if their
even
will isn't
subconsciously, even subconsciously.
And if their will isn't strong enough to like their will / aura, isn't strong enough to defend themselves, or if they can't do it, and yours breaks through, then your will caused harm to them without even doing a technique. Hence why Hisoka was able to knock all those people out in the forest.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy.
Hey, he didn't kill him.
Yet.
So, you guys want to go ahead and get into the 4 basic principles of Nen?
Look, I just started I'm watching the show, but I can't remember anything involving principles. I just know Nen looks cool and they're a really cool fight.
All right, Max.
I'll be Killua and he'll
educate
be Gon,
me.
and then go teach us.
Okay. All right. So the first principle of Nen is,
and then me and him have to come up with the Nen ability by the end of this with what you taught us. Go on.
Okay. You know what? I'm cool with that.
I have to.
Go.
You could try.
Yeah, you gotta judge our shit. You gotta judge if it'll work for us. Go.
All right. So the 4 basic principles of Nen. When you start, you have 10, which is the ability to keep your nodes open and keep your aura flow around you. So if you're only able to keep the nodes open but the leak continues, you'll run out of energy. If you're able to keep the aura around you but you're not able to open the nodes, then you won't have any aura around you, or enough aura around you. A side effect of 10 is actually that it reduces aging, and we see this in Netero. He looks quite a few years younger than he actually is, clocking in at about 100. And what's the girl's name? She looks
Bisky?
like she's a...
Wait, are you talking about the buff chick?
Yeah, the buff one.
No, that ain't a little girl. That is a...
That's a grown woman.
Buff.
Yeah, she's like 56 in real life, but she walks around looking like a little girl because she can control her head.
Well, no, actually, it was actually if you look back into it, it wasn't she can control her Nen. It was just that she desired so much to not have that body and to be able to be her cutesy self that it literally turned herself into it.
So the next Nen technique is Zetsu. It's where you stop the flow of aura completely, and this can be used for tracking because you're more sensitive. You can
quiz us, by the way, but go on.
Okay. It can be used for tracking and stealth. You're hidden from everyone else, but you can feel aura more so. And it has the added benefit of, do either of you guys know what the added benefit of turning off your aura is?
People can't sense you?
Well, no. Aside from that, there's like one that you wouldn't expect.
An added benefit that you wouldn't expect of Zetsu?
Yep.
You're charging your Nen?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Oh, it's charging your Nen, really?
Yeah, it recharges your aura.
Look at me here, being the amateur, outpacing Diego.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yo, Diego, get on my level.
That's good. I'm still gonna make a better Nen ability, but go on.
Facts.
Especially now that I know that. Oh my god, I'm definitely gonna incorporate Zetsu into it.
Nah, don't worry, Diego. My Nen ability will wreck yours.
So the next basic principle is Ren, which is increasing the amount of aura around you, and that could be, you can think of it in a way of a powered up version of 10, similar to the Super Saiyan aura. You're powering up your already existing aura to expand it, and it's usually an offensive technique, because at the basic principles, no aura, it can defend you from anything. We'll get into that with the advanced techniques. Now, Hatsu is defined as the release of aura, and it usually has a specific task unique to the user, usually dependent on the Nen classification of the user. And another way to think of it is your personal expression of Nen. So that's what you guys will be designing or thinking of as I talk through these Nen points. And feel free to ask questions about each of the Nen points that I'll be getting to. So what you guys will be making is your personal expression of Nen.
I already got mine. Got it. We're good.
Okay.
Here it
I will break Diego.
I don't even have mine yet.
So those
so many.
Those Nen classification types that I was talking about, you can find out yours by doing a simple test called, do either of you guys know the name of the test to find out what Nen?
The Nen Divination. Divination. Water Divination.
Yes,
you
had Water Divination, yes.
Okay, there.
So the Water Divination is practiced by filling a cup with water and putting a leaf on top. And then you focus your aura into this cup, and then something will happen to the cup of water. So the first thing that may happen, if you are an enhancer, the volume of water changes. So that is either water decreasing or water overflowing. If that happens, you are an enhancer. If the taste of the water changes, you are a transmuter. If something shows up in the water like dirt, sand, dust, you are a conjurer. If the color changes, you're an emitter. And if the leaf moves, you are a manipulator. Now, I said 6 but I only said 5 types of things, because the last one, specialization, is literally anything else. If the cup blows up, you're a specialist. If the leaf blows up, you're a specialist. If the water turns to blood, you're a specialist.
Does that still fall under the color changing category?
No, because
I feel like that could be transmutation, actually.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so here's why. Transmutation would make it taste like blood. Emission would make it the color of blood. But a specialist actually makes the water blood. Because there is an instance in the manga where someone turns the water to acid, like just complete acid.
Spoiler, I guess, but
and it was a specialist. Yeah.
So that person was a specialist. That's Max. It's not that big a deal. Truthfully, anything I talk about after that would probably be a spoiler.
You know what? I'm just sitting here already spoiled, sad.
Hush. That's just an example.
Yeah, no, it's my fellow viewers feel so.
Do you guys?
You don't know who does it. You don't know who does it.
Comment if you've been spoiled by Devon down below.
Do you guys have any questions about the water divination test at all?
It was pretty thorough when I was watching it literally last week.
Yeah, it was really thorough.
He said last week. All right. So, do you guys want me to talk about the advanced techniques of Nen first, and then talk about the aura types, like what they do, or the other way around?
Whatever you're feeling. You're the Nen expert.
The aura types first?
Nen expert? Nen expert? I don't know.
Hush your hole, Max.
Yeah, this is where you would get into the Hisoka definition of each aura type too. If you remember, I don't remember.
So I don't remember the entire personality aspect. Hisoka Muro, the clown himself, has a good a good way of determining what someone else's Nen type is based on a few interactions with them. Hisoka decided that most Nen users fall into well, obviously they fall into 6 categories. But based on their personalities, you can get a closer narrowing of what Nen type those people are. Typically, for example, an enhancer is someone who's very forthcoming,
determined.
Yeah, very determined, very strong-willed, and they would usually be an enhancer. A manipulator is someone who is usually secretive and likes to play behind the scenes.
They're very logical too.
Exactly. Specialists usually tend to be charismatic and draw people into them, even though they don't want to be close to them or feel that they shouldn't be close to them. And things like that. I don't remember exactly every single personality that.
I can finish it up. It says conjurers are typically high strung and overly serious, a little stoic. Emitters are impatient, not detail oriented, and quick to react in a volatile manner. And then transmuters are whimsical and prone to deceit. So
yeah, so
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
put your own in the comments. Take the test.
Yes.
Tell us what you are.
So the aura types are very special because everyone, whether you become a hunter or not, every single person is born with an aura type, and one specifically you are born with, and then you can develop more as your life goes on. But whatever your first one is the one you have the strongest inclination towards. So your natural personality, essentially. Hatsu is almost always based on their natural Nen type. However, there's one specific character in the Tower arc. Remember him, Max? Who decided he was an emitter, but he used an enhancer ability and a conjuration ability.
He tried it,
and it ended up backfiring because he couldn't control it.
No. He was a natural enhancer. The guy that Hisoka fought.
Yeah, and he was using
a natural enhancer. And he was using Manipulator and Conjurer ability.
Yes.
And it was like, bro, this isn't good for you.
You're really pushing your luck.
He's like, you're really weak, and bodied him with a flying hand.
And Hisoka doesn't like weak people.
No, he doesn't.
Although other strong people, it's uncomfortable.
Damn, Hisoka really didn't want to fight him, though.
Yeah, he really didn't. He was like, I just can't lose. So getting into the aura types, we have the first one is enhancer. As an enhancer, you typically have the ability to use aura to increase the natural abilities of yourself or an object. Typically speed and strength, and they're usually used for close range combat. However, one type of enhancement ability that is unsung as a hero would be a healing ability. If you became a healer, that is using enhancement. And the only reason I even thought of that was because of Kurapika. One of his enhancer chain is the one that heals.
Yeah.
Can you guys give me
own healing?
Yeah, can you guys give me an example of an enhancer ability?
Oh, what? Of course. What the hell? Gon's rock,
John
rock, paper,
Poe.
rock.
Yeah.
John Ken.
Specifically the rock one, though.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I thought it was called rock.
I thought it was like Jajonkin or something like that.
Jajonkin, yeah, it's Jajonkin. I remember very clearly because I literally passed that episode 2 days ago.
There you go. It's Jajonkin. One of the worst.
It helps to have somebody who's recently watched everything.
I agree. Rock, paper, scissors is not a great ability.
What are you talking about? I love it.
I know you would.
Yeah, it's simple. It's cool. You got three.
I would love
chance
to
be an enhancer. Right?
I would love to be an enhancer. I mean, we could talk about the bad things of being an enhancer, which is if we look at the enhancer abilities in the series, they're not all that interesting. I mean, I guess it's because I wouldn't be an enhancer, but like they're not abilities I would want. Like the rock paper scissors that Gon has.
No, you obviously don't want to have fun. That's obviously what it is.
And I mean, you even
have fun, but you could have fun with better ways, you know.
You even have Uvagin, whose ability was literally just strengthening his fist.
It was, yeah.
He was like, "Things go boom."
That's something all of them can do. He could just do it at a higher level. So
that speaks to me though.
Yeah, but his higher level literally put a crater in the ground and killed 3 dudes, like easy.
Yeah, but he was still getting watered around by.
Isn't Finks an enhancer as well?
Yeah, Finks is an enhancer. Finks is probably one of the enhancers I respect the most when it comes to abilities.
I like his ability. He uses momentum of spinning his arm to strengthen the power of the next hit that comes out.
That's his what is that called? It's a condition. That's his condition.
Yeah. So that's about it for enhancement. You pretty much strengthen the natural abilities of something. So like also that can be used to enhance like a sword. Like if you're holding a sword, you can make the sword more durable while you're holding it.
Although I will say that every other Nen type can do that, but it's just if you're an enhancer, you can do that better.
Because it is
be stronger.
It is one of the actually no, there is another Nen type that has a better time enhancing or pouring Nen into another object, and I'll get to them shortly. So the next Nen type that we're going to be talking about is Transmuter. They can change the properties of their aura, and a lot of the time you will see the aura show up as like an energy around them in the shape of things. And this isn't to get confused with Conjurers, because for a Transmuter, the thing they make out of their aura is made out of pure aura, whereas a Conjurer makes a real object. That there's the distinction. But would you guys be able to give me an example of Transmuters?
Oh yeah, of course. Hisoka, Killua, Machi.
So Max, what is Hisoka's ability?
Bungee gum.
What is bungee gum? Let's see if you know the line.
Is you want the line? You mean?
Yes.
The one line.
I don't think I can say this on YouTube.
What?
Okay, not that line. Not that line.
Not that line.
We're just talking about what bungee gum is.
When you describe.
Are you sure you want me to say it?
Okay. Bungee gum consists the properties of both rubber and gum. That's it. That's
that line, Max. Come on. So that's the thing about Transmuters. They can change the properties of their aura into other things. So like Diego said, Hisoka Muro. Hisoka changes the properties of his aura into something called bungee gum. It has the properties of both rubber and gum. Killua, he's been tased so much throughout his life that he's able to give his aura the properties of lightning.
That's something that should actually go a little bit more in depth, where it's the reason why your aura is so attached to you is because it depends on the experiences you've been through, and so therefore.
Yes. So go ahead.
So therefore, like I'm surprised we haven't seen one yet. Maybe we have. I guess Phaeton could be. Phaeton's a transmuter, and we haven't seen like a fire transmuter that his aura just becomes fire, because you would have to like be able to feel that type of heat and pain and stuff.
You'd have to have experienced that at some point. It was one of the conditions. So if you know how fire works intimately, like if you were like someone who's like a grill master and you were making yours, even if you hadn't been burned, you could still make your thing fire. Like if you knew all the properties of it, if you knew the temperature.
And it gives us into a very interesting aspect about Nen, which is why I think it's very important for your ability. Like the best Nen users are the ones that their abilities match their experience and what they want to do. And so, we don't know anything about his backstory, but for him to develop an ability of bungee gum, it would have to be like maybe it had to do with his favorite candy or something like that. Actually, so it gives us more characterization to his character.
Yeah.
Because he's such a good Nen ability, such a good Nen user, so we know that he did it right, and so therefore.
It's funny you say that like that, because that as of the 1999 anime, that is the origin of bungee gum. It was his favorite. His family was so poor when he was growing up. He would like whenever they would get him a piece of the candy, he would chew it until it got pretty hard. He would chew it till it lost all flavor. He would chew it after that, and so that's why his Nen ability is based on rubber.
Oh my god! So he probably has an ability where hold on, you said where his Nen becomes hard, or where the gum became hard.
Yeah,
he probably has an ability where like his aura. Oh my god.
I mean, not that I know of, but
That'll be fine.
And I'm all the way caught up, so not that I know
same.
of.
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
So
yeah, I'm not gonna say.
So the next Nen type is Emission, and what this is defined as, it's the controlled deployment of aura separate from the user. Do you guys have any idea what that means?
Pew pew aura.
Oh, Max got it. Max got it. It's pew pew aura.
Your aura can just go flying. It's like Dragon Ball Z Kai Blast.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, exactly, exactly. Ki Blast, Rasen Shuriken.
What's his name's grandpa does that.
The bow and arrow dude who held his hand like this.
No, I'm talking about a real fighter. I'm talking about a real fighter. The guy who does the dragon.
No. Zeno is not an emitter. Zeno
is shooting literal dragons.
Zeno is a conjurer. He changed his.
Wait, what? Zeno grandpa?
No. I meant to say transmuter. I was looking at the word conjurer. But yeah, so back to emitters. You're able to shoot your aura. So, Max, since you knew it was pew pew aura, could you give me an example of something, of a user of emission at all?
Give me a minute to think. The guy who shoots bows and arrows. That's all I got.
That works. His was also very interesting because he changed the properties of the arrows. So he was able to use he was able to transmute.
Like fire.
Exactly. Yeah, he was able to transmute the properties of. I'm holding up the middle finger, but that's just how he did the bow thing.
Like you shoot. I always saw him do was shoot fire, shoot some more fire, shot
because
fire
the
again.
orange one exploded and the red one was like a fire.
They were kind of the same thing.
And he didn't get to use any of the other colors.
He did.
So Gachi definitely ran out of ideas for him, or he ran out.
I think he introduced his character. He introduced his character solely to kill this man off. Same with the bee girl. They were solely introduced just to die.
Emitters, if anyone who is able to project their aura from their body in any way is an emitter. That's
using emitter techniques.
Exactly. I guess I should make that point, because if you're an enhancer, you can make an ability that
like a good example of what I mean by that is Morel. He's an emitter, but he transmutes his aura into smoke. So it's not even that he has that he's a transmuter. It's that he's an emitter, so his smoke can go far away and it's independent of him.
Yep.
But he's changing the properties into smoke.
And he can also use one of the next.
And he can also manipulate.
He manipulates it exactly.
And he can also manipulate it. Yeah.
So
and he's a great Nen user. He might not be like overpowered, but like his skill and mastery in Nen is shown to be very good because he's very versatile with the way he's able to use things.
Even if you want to talk about Gon to a lesser extent, he has an emitter ability as well.
Paper.
Yeah, so his rock is an enhancer ability. It powers up the fist, but his the paper ability shoots out an aura blast. So
like an emitter would, yeah.
Exactly.
Like an emitter.
And then he transmutes for scissors, because he gives his aura the properties of a blade.
Yeah.
So even Gon, the main character who is an enhancer, is able to use emission, transmutation, and enhancement all in his one ability. So then the next Nen type, because emission is pretty much done, it's really basic, is Conjuration. And Conjuration is the act of using aura to produce a physical object. And like I said before, the difference between transmutation and conjuration is the fact that conjuration creates real objects. So similar to, or not similar to, Cortopi from the Phantom Troop, how he was making those doppelganger pots. That's conjuration. Like if Max decided,
it's not Nen anymore, or it is not. Is it still Nen? Technically.
No,
he was able to feel where they were at all times.
But that's because he made them.
I don't know, but
yeah. Either way.
It's like a deeper form of transmutation. I feel like could a conjurer conjure fire without having to be burned, without having to experience being burned?
No, I don't know that a conjurer could conjure fire though, because it's not a physical object.
Do you know the poem guy, where he would like say a haiku and then punch someone and then it would like explode or something like that? So it would, whatever the haiku said would happen. Was that conjuring or is that transmutation?
This specialist.
That sounds like I was actually going to say the same thing. That sounds.
His ability is very weak though. Like he has to say a haiku before he does anything.
I mean, just because you're a specialist doesn't make you bust it. Look at the lion.
I guess you're right.
The who? All right, he died real fast.
Anyway,
they hyped that man up, and he just got bodied.
So,
he did get bodied, but he got bodied in like a smart way. Like it wasn't like
exactly.
Like
it wasn't like a wash.
Yeah, it wasn't like a wash.
but it was a wash.
Yeah, technically it was. Morel kind of did wash him, but at the same time, like
he was
like,
in water.
We always knew Morel was gonna cook him.
Exactly. So a thing about conjurers, like I said before with transmuters, how Gon can make his Nen have the properties of a blade. A conjurer can just make the blade.
Like actual steel and metal.
Yeah, but it is important to note that you can't make something that's impossible. So they said, like it's impossible to make a sword that will never break. But you can't, because your brain will default to the hardest thing you know. So
yeah,
like go ahead.
But with conditions, you can make something close.
Exactly.
To unbreakable. So that's what Kurapika does. Probably the poster boy for Conjuration.
Yeah.
He can he conjures chains, and one of them has the condition of only being able to use towards a specific group of bad guys, the Phantom Troop. And when he's using it against them, that chain becomes incredibly strong, almost unbreakable. And one of the most powerful enhancers we've ever seen.
Exactly, it scales in power to them.
Yeah, and it even allows a Zetsu. It even induces Zetsu into whoever it's wrapped in. So it's like it has hacks to it. So now you can't use your net abilities while you're wrapped in the train. So that was Conjuration can be overpowered if if you add your conditions to it. If you have a set goal,
similar
and you don't mind sacrificing.
Conjuration specifically, another good example is Kite. His ability was the talking box thing that would form into a weapon. Like, so he would roll randomly and a number 1 to 9. And then he would get a weapon based on whatever he rolled. One of them is a gun, one of them is a staff, one is a sword, things like that.
I got to see all of them.
Yeah. It's definitely the fact that Togashi just ran out of ideas. He just didn't have ideas for what else he wanted to draw him for. So he was like, we're just going to, you know.
Pretty much.
But I mean, sometimes in life it happens, Sometimes you don't see people so
What do you mean life? He's dead.
Okay.
So yeah. So if you were to make a conjuration ability, Max, what would you make? And there's one specific answer that
tennis racket.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Tennis racket with tennis balls.
See, so his conjuration ability could be making a tennis racket, and the fact that it can project tennis balls out of it would be a use of Emission.
Yeah.
That would actually be a pretty good net ability. Pause.
Yeah.
I don't even know what mine is.
So, moving on to Manipulators. Manipulators use aura to manipulate living or non-living objects. An example of a manipulator is Shalnark obviously from Hunter x Hunter. He uses his cell phone to control people. Another one is Illumi, and he uses needles to control people.
I will add that Shalnark also has needles.
Oh yes, he does.
Placing a needle placing a needle on an opponent or on an object is a condition for manipulating it.
You don't always have to place an object. You can make physical contact, or you have your Nen come into contact with them as well. There's a character later on who emits their Nen and
You
then
could probably do some really crazy genjutsus, like if someone looks at your eye, you know what I'm saying? You can put them, you can manipulate their senses.
You know, it's
Yo, that would
funny
be
you
a good
say that because
genjutsu.
I think most genjutsu would fall under manipulation.
Manipulation, right?
Especially the Mangekyo Sharingan abilities, since those specifically send chakra from your eyes into your target. I think that would count as manipulation because that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
And remember that thing I said earlier about how there's another group that's better at pouring their nen into an object than enhancers? It's manipulators. Manipulators are able to strengthen and reinforce an object better than an enhancer would.
Yeah.
Because because they're better at projecting their body than an enhancer would. So an enhancer can do it. Like if I were, like, say I was an enhancer and I touched Max, I can make him stronger, but that would be weaker than if Diego was a manipulator and was controlling Max and then enhance Max on top of that. Max would then get a bigger boost from Diego than he would from me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just thought that was probably one of the most interesting thing about manipulators, the fact that they're able to pour the most nen into, or most aura into another object or person.
Yeah, I would think it would be emitter.
I agree, but since they project theirs typically offensive, you know. So that covers the 5 main ones, because Specialist, although it's the 6th, is also the hardest to pin down. It's literally defined as anything that doesn't fit into any of those 5 categories.
Alright, let's just leave it at that, because there's too much to go on.
Oh, no, of course. I'm just going to give a couple examples of specialists. One is Meruem, who has a nen, or has an aura eating ability. Crollo Lucifer, who can copy nen abilities, and Lael, who can also copy abilities using a calculator, or a cell phone, rather. Is there any other special? Oh, Pito, she has a puppet tail.
Oh, yeah.
So now that we've talked about nen and what it is, I'd like to hear what your nen ability... Like, first, I want to hear what type you think you would be, and then give me an example of your nen ability. So, Max, you could go first.
Well, I just came up with a really cool nen ability. I don't know if it necessarily fits with my type, but
okay,
try.
This seems really cool. I think I'm an emitter.
Try to fit it into
personality base wise. I think I'm an emitter. Would you say that's accurate?
I would kind of agree.
I would say either emitter or enhancer. Or, he's not like crazy like abrasive, but like, you know, either one of those, I think.
Yeah. And my nen ability is irrational thought.
Irrational thought.
So when I make contact with my opponent, it will build up over time, but they'll keep getting more and more distracting thoughts or irrational thought processes in the middle of a fight. No, it keeps getting exponentially worse as the fight continues to go on, and the more contact I keep making, in any capacity, until you just.
Well, as an emitter, so the only thing I say about that is that it doesn't fit emitter specifically.
Yeah, that sounds like a manipulator.
It does sound like a manipulator. However, if you were,
that's a pretty good ability. That's a pretty good ability.
It is definitely a good ability. However, what if you were to, you could at range, if you were to throw something like a specific object at them, that object makes contact, then they get it. Now you combine a little bit of manipulation.
But they take no physical damage. Because if they take physical damage, then it wouldn't be...
Well, the idea, though, is as long as you keep making contact, so even if they hit me, still, the effect keeps compounding on them.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, because that's not, and again, that's not an emission ability. Emission is the user projecting their aura out. So this ability that you have on its design at the moment as just manipulation, you can only use it at 80% capacity. I mean, that's still really good. It's a strong ability. Because of where you would sit on the chart, manipulation is the one right next to you.
Yeah, but either way, I think that would be a pretty good... I
think it would, but if you could work to make that a projectile, I think it would be perfect.
Yeah, well, I have to figure out, like, throwing, but the problem is, the idea of it is you continuously in the...
It would be your tennis racket. you would conjure up a tennis racket, and if you have a back and forth with your opponent, like you hit them with the ball, and then they hit you with something or some shit like that, then
the thing is, he could even
more distracted.
he could even emit the thought with his voice, so that could be like one of the downsides, and he could give himself the risk. Pretty much. And if his opponent is able to discern that the thing that he said is what's causing it, that's when they can break through it. So it makes really powerful illusions / intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, so they'd have to somehow figure out how to stop his nen from intruding through their ears.
Exactly.
If he speaks.
So the last word he says of that sentence that causes the illusion, because again he's emitting it with his voice.
It's gonna be legit, but he's gonna have to put in on that nen ability.
Of course, yeah. Well, he doesn't have to.
The Zetsu thing.
Because they have
to, but
they'd have to hear it. That's the issue. They'd have to hear it.
Oh yeah, true.
But again, we can work on this later. But I think it's a really strong ability.
That might beat me up, dude. I already have ADHD, so like if you're giving me more, you're gonna put me up mentally for sure, dude. That might actually break me. Like you weren't wrong.
The way I figure is that eventually, if you keep compounding the effect, eventually they just get so distracted and can't keep focused. You can just
imagine you can remember.
This is where you messed up, Max. Now I know your ability.
It doesn't mean you're not distracted still.
All right, Diego, let's hear yours.
Shit, what's mine?
So
what
first,
was the one I was saying earlier? All right, so the one I thought I would be is, it's funny because I think I'm either between two on a completely different spectrum. I'm either a manipulator, which is on the completely other side of a transmuter.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more of a transmuter. I don't know if you guys would agree.
I mean, truthfully, I would think I think you're smarter than like a tip. Well, no transmuters are really dumb, so I just go in my head. I think of manipulators as more intelligent than
like. Yeah, no, but like if you look at it, like look at the manipulators in the series, like Illumi versus Hisoka, like manipulator versus like they're almost at the same level.
Exactly. And then Kurapika and Shalnark. So I get it. But continue. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'd be more of a transmuter. So I guess I'd have to switch my aura into something. Like I can't do fire. I can't do lightning. I don't think I could do bungee gum.
Probably do wind.
I don't know if I could do wind.
No, think about it. You longboard and like that feeling of the breeze through your hair and stuff like that.
So that's like
the wild
that's a good
energy.
My nen is gonna be a constant breeze. It's gonna be just a constant nice breeze. It's gonna be a good vibe. I'm gonna change the climate around me. People are just gonna be like, yo, it's so nice around here.
They're gonna be
like, they won't want to fight you because it's so chill.
Well, exactly. You could call it calming winds.
Calming winds?
Yeah, you take malicious intent out of the area.
I was thinking about an ability that turns people into your friends. That's just like my aura is just a vibe, and then people are just like, yo, you know what? Like I literally can't fuck with you. Like I'll just be spitting like logical facts at them, and they'll be like,
pause, Diego, let's team up.
You want to team up? You're gonna distract people, and then once they're distracted, they're gonna. I'm gonna hit them with my vibe, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, honestly, I'm your best friend, man."
Yo, bro, but they're still suffering from these illusions. They're like, "Yo, these are terrible." But you know what?
You want to know what's funny? You want to know what's funny? That it worked because Max wanted to break me before, but now that I told him my good vibes ability, he just wants to work with me now. So it actually worked.
What do you mean?
So that would legitimately be my nen ability because it literally just worked in real life. Was that too much?
Diego's ability is calming winds. Max's ability is intrusive thought. I like this.
What's yours though, Devin? We gotta get one for you also. Come on.
What's your specialist ability?
So,
because me and Devin have taken the test. Every time I take the test, the nen ability we're about to link, I get between manipulator and transmuter. I think Devin's taken it, and you've gotten specialist.
Yeah, I've taken a bunch of Hunter tests, and I've gotten one time ever I got enhancer. And then every other time I've taken it on like other sites and longer tests, I've gotten specialist. So I'm not even gonna bother with enhancer as a specialist ability. When Diego and I were talking about specialists and the other abilities and shit, I wanted a way to make vampirism a Nen ability, and like it's really easy to make vampirism like an enhancement ability, make vampirism a manipulator ability. But what I decided was, if the ability itself is the absorption of Nen or blood, right there is a specialist, right? But then I get
similar to how Miriam.
Similar. But based on what I absorb, Nen or blood, I get different effects.
Okay.
So if I siphon blood, I get an enhancer ability. Like it just boosts my strength and speed, like just a base.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty fire.
And then
is that lasting or is it like digestion?
I would definitely have to make it digestion based because lasting would be busted. Also, I can't use one of my restrictions. I can't use my ability between 8 a.m. and like noon.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'll call it something like Curse of Darkness, Vampirism, Blood Bond, or something like that.
No, that's a great condition. Honestly, you got it. You made this. You perfected this. Let's go. Go
on. And I didn't want to do, I didn't want to copy that, and I didn't want to copy any of the specialist abilities in the show, but I did derive a bit from Meruem because I think he's awesome. And so like one of the abilities, like if I absorb Nen from an emitter, I get mist form, so I can change.
How would you absorb the Nen? Would it be with your fangs, or would it be?
Yeah, it's I ingest it, so I would have to get close to the person and absorb it.
So why don't you just do both at the same time?
I can, and then I get one special ability like true form for vampire, and it'll give me a boost for every Nen type, like a small one. So heightened senses would be like an enhancer, and physical abilities like speed and strength would all get boosted from blood. So that would be the the enhancement boost.
Yeah.
Manipulator boost. If I absorb Nen from a manipulator, I can, that thing they call glamoring, where like the vampire can hypnotize you.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's crazy is that's actually a great ability because now you can use like every type how you want. Yeah, that was honestly a great ability.
And then the last one is mist form for an emitter. If I absorb the energy of an emitter, I'm able to change my body into, or my aura into, mist that can surround the area.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really hard to come up with.
How about a transmuter?
I didn't actually have one for that because again, it's difficult. It is difficult. I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap up. We've been Baka Burrito. I'm Devin.
I'm Diego.
And I'm Max.
Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what your Nen type would be, and go ahead and leave down there what kind of Nen ability you would make. We'd love to hear them. Have a good one.
Peace.